Hi, Dan here. Hope you're doing really well. I'm just going to dive straight into this. There's so much music that you can make from harmonizing a scale. Now, I've already done a video on C major and everything you can do with that. And this is A natural minor. It's related. So we get a set of arpeggios, triads, chords, and scales. And I'm probably going to miss out loads of things because I try to keep these videos relatively short. But here's a scale. Look, it's A minor. It goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, like this. Now, the root note is the lowest note. And you can just make up a bass line just using that, but we have other options if we keep going. So a triad is when you take the first, the third, and the fifth note of the scale you're playing. A, C, and E in this case. Got a root, a minor third, and a fifth. That's just root fifth. You can hear loads of bass lines that do that. And that's just the triad. Now let's add the octave in there. So it's just A, C, E, and just add another A in. That's an arpeggio. If we add the seventh in, be really aware of the number of the note within the scale as you're playing it. You know, it's just 1 to 8. The eighth and the first are exactly the same. So there's actually only 7 different notes in this. So a minor seventh arpeggio is just when you stick the seventh note in there, which is G. In the little improvisation in the intro, I was just doing a root, a fifth, and be very aware of intervals. You know, musicians do that a lot. They say things like the root, the fifth, the minor seventh, or flat seventh. And I know exactly where it is under my fingers. And if you know the scale, I've just moved here to the 5th fret. I'm just going frets 5, 7, 8 on the E and the A string, and then 5, 7 on the D string. Root is the first note. The 5th is just count 5 up. The 7th or flat 7th is 7 up from the root. You know, funk lines use that a lot. Root, 5th, flat 7th octave. And, you know, reggae, just triads. Already, just with the information I've given you, you can do a lot. When you play arpeggios, which are just chord tones together, you get a chord. All I'm doing here is I'm just moving higher because chords tend to sound a bit better higher up the bass. Actually, let's just do one here. It doesn't really matter. It's just any portion of the bass you can play a chord. All I did there was a root, a fifth together. That's a power chord, actually. Flatten your finger out and play the third up the octave, which is the 10th. And again, just knowing the scale. It's going 10 up. And I'm playing that, so the root, the 10th, and the 5th. It's a really good voicing, okay? And all of this, I'm making this all up on the spot just to show you that that's what you can do. You can compose, you can improvise, you can jam by using this information. Also, you can listen to music, and that's what you should do, by the way. Listen to as many bass lines as you can. Your ear will be able to decipher this once you have the underlying code to this, which is everything I'm showing you. Now, that'll do for now on the A. That's the first note. We've got 7 different notes. And we can do exactly what I just did on all 7 notes. So I'm just gonna whiz through those a little bit. So the first one I did was just A to A, and I got that scale, the A natural minor scale. This is actually modes as well, because if you go the second note of the A natural minor scale, it's B, and you just go B to B. It's a great one to teach this because there's no sharps or flats. It's just natural notes. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so we're going B to B. That gives you a diminished triad. I'm just playing the first, third, and fifth of this sort of new scale, if you like, this mode. I'm not going to go too much into the names, but that's a Locrian mode, in case you want to know. Okay, let's put a 7th in there. I'll just put the octave in. That's a B minor 7 flat 5. You see that a lot in jazz. Not in a lot of other styles of music, mind you. Okay, let's move on. Third note. So we've got A, B, C. We're on C now. So C to C is the C major scale. That's how C major and A natural minor are related. That has a C major triad, C major 7 arpeggio, C major 7 chord. I'm just choosing to play that. What if I take the 7th out? I'm just doing a root, a third, and an octave there. What about a root, a 5th? And let's put the note after the octave, the 9th in. There are different voicings of chords. If you know the notes within the scale, you can just do what you like. I'm going to move on. So we've got A, B, C, the next one, D to D. So it's your Dorian mode. Play the triad of that. D minor triad. You've got your D minor 7 arpeggio. Okay, let's move up. Let's go to the E. E to E. Sounds a bit Spanishy. That's called the Phrygian mode. The triad is a minor one. Minor arpeggio, minor 7th arpeggio you can get. Next you have F to F. And that gives you the Lydian mode, and that has a major triad, major 7th arpeggio. Do a major 7th chord if you like. And then the last one, the 7th, is just G to G. That's your Mixolydian mode. It gives you a major triad, another major triad. Then if you put the 7th on this one, which is F, you get a G dominant or a G7 arpeggio. So when you work through the A natural minor scale in that way, you get 7 different scales or modes, and each of those scales creates a triad, a chord, and arpeggio. So here they are. Notice that musicians use Roman numerals, lowercase for minor, uppercase for major. It's a really interesting and useful system that I really recommend you learn. And in terms of making music, this is absolutely endless, but I just want to give you a few ideas. Let's start really, really simple. One of the things I was doing in the intro was just going from the 1 to the 7 to the 6. So that's just A minor, G major to F major. Now, why not just play simple root? Let's add some thirds. So A minor, you need a minor third, and then the G and the F, a major third. Nothing groundbreaking here. I am making this up as we go. So just to illustrate the point that if you know the underlying chord tones and scales, then you can really start to be more interesting. Let's start to do something a bit more interesting. Let's go 1, 4, 5. That's A minor, D minor, and E minor. Since they're all the same quality of chord, all minor, we can use the same shapes. So I'm going to use a root, 5th, minor 7th, and octave. What about doing a similar kind of thing and maybe playing a few more scale notes? A few ways of thinking about this, but ultimately, if you know that we're in this case, A natural minor, you know the note, that's a 5, 7, 8, frets 5, 7, 8 on the E and the A string. And then 5, 7, 9 on the remaining 2 strings. One way of playing it. It's the 3-note per string pattern. Now if I go... I can start to play around with the chord tones and then use notes from the scale to fill in the gaps. There's just one way of millions of ways of playing. Let's move on. Let's do some chords. So I'm going to go higher up the neck. just doing a A minor 7, so that's frets 12, 10 and 12 using the second, first and third fingers. A minor, it's a nice A minor 7 shape, okay? Into the 5 chord, that's E minor, doing another E minor 7, so I'm going, using my first finger actually, to bar across the 12th fret. I'm playing on the E, the D and the G strings, and I'm actually playing my third finger on the 14th fret, the A. Was I doing that? Yeah, I think I was. Exactly the same shape as that 4 chord, remember, they're all minor? So you can move it down 2 frets. And exactly the same shape on the 5th fret. So I'm just using the chords and the scales to connect things up and to make music. Whether you put notes together and play chords, which is an unusual thing to do on bass, or you play a bit more traditionally. The choice is yours. Now I'm going to show you another thing that is really, really useful to know, and that is this. So we've got, on each of these 7 notes, we played a scale or a mode, and we really must be aware of the triad. And that's never going to change, by the way. In a minor key, in a natural minor key, this is always going to be the same on any different note. We know our mode, we know the triad, we know the arpeggio, we know the chord. And the more you do this, the more you realize, oh, that one's the same as that one, it's the same as that one. I'll put a sheet below, a link below to a sheet, and you can go and download that and study it. But once you get it, a light bulb will go off, and you'll start hearing loads of bass lines that you like and you enjoy, and you'll be able to use this as a kind of code to decipher it, and your ear will get a lot stronger. But one thing I really wanted to show you that's an excellent thing to play and to know is that on any of the minor chords, whether you're playing chords or whether you're playing single notes, a minor pentatonic scale will work over that. And conversely, on the major ones, major pentatonic will work. So let me just... I don't really know what I'm playing there, but what was I doing? That's A minor. So I was playing around with the chord tones as I showed you before, you know, your roots, flat third, fifths, you know, the patterns that I know. And then it's just a minor pentatonic scale. If you don't know it, you really need to know that scale. It's just, you hear it all the time in bass playing. So I'm going frets 5, 8 on the E string, and then 5, 7 on the remaining. And then just sliding up 2 frets higher on that top string. To C, so that's the 3 chord, A, B, C, 3 chord. And this time, I'm playing a major pentatonic. That's how it works. A major pentatonic basically spells out the chord of a C major chord. Spells out the notes, so that's why it works. Going to G, it's major, so you can play major pentatonic. I am overplaying, but that's just to illustrate the point. So when you're playing in a band situation or you're recording, you have to exercise your own taste. And often that's just playing root notes. But if you have the options under your fingers, let's just review on just one scale or one position. So we got our scale or our mode, if we want to call it that. We've got our triad. We've got our arpeggio. Different types, you know, that's just a minor one. If we add the 7th in, we get a minor 7. We can place some of those notes together and we get a chord. The principle's the same. We're just adding some notes from the scale together, you get a chord. You get different voicings. And then if it's minor, the minor pentatonic will work over it, okay? And just knowing that, except on all the different notes of the scale, it just, there's so much you can do. It's absolutely crazy. In terms of improvising, making stuff up, going to a jam session, or listening to music and understanding what you're hearing. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I've got so many more ideas, but I want to keep the video roughly, you know, a short-ish kind of length. But if you've got any questions, leave it in the comments below and I'll get back to you. You can head over to onlinebasscourses.com. I've got loads of lessons there. I'll put a PDF of some of the chords and triads and stuff like that, so you can download that for free. Other than that, thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you on the next one, and please do like and subscribe. I do 2 videos at least a week, so don't miss the next one. Cheers.